Okay, Sistas fans, praise God. This is the last video, as of right now, that I need to do in regards to Karen and whether or not she's pregnant. I've already done a video this morning. Is Karen pregnant or not? Is Rico the baby daddy? Who's Rico? Check out the video. I'll mention him briefly in this one, but Rico is not the father. Trust and believe me. I'm also doing a video breaking down the scene between Karen and Zach at the end of the last episode, because I will mention it briefly here. Ebony Obsidian is a fantastic actress. I know it's easy to... there are many reasons to hate on her character, but one thing I will not falter for is the hell of the performance her and Duvall gave in that scene. I cannot wait to record that video after this one. But yeah, it was definitely emotional. Despite the fact of being frustrated with Karen, knowing the whole pregnancy thing would be the cliffhanger ending, it was a very well acted scene because I actually felt something. I really did. But in this video, we're talking specifically, who is the baby daddy? Is it Zach or is it Aaron? Now, if you've been on the channel, even for the past several months, I'm not even talking years, you know I am not a big fan of Tyler Perry and the baby, who is the baby daddy storylines. I feel like for me, that thrill of the chase, if you will, died at the end of If Loving You Was Wrong, when we never found out who the father of Alex's baby was. I mean, in episode one, Alex, you're pregnant. The beginning of episode 2, she had the pregnancy test, found out she was pregnant. Then as the show went on, it's like, ooh, it's Randall's baby. Then the baby comes out black. And then it's like, wait a minute. If it isn't Randall's baby, which we eventually found out based off like a bunch of DNA tests, pigmentation, from, down the family trees of both me and Brad, is it possible? I mean, we were all becoming doctors and whatnot trying to figure this out. Then Ian randomly gets thrown into the fold as, oh, Jennifer Peppa. So it's like, oh, wow, could it be Ian's baby? And then out of nowhere, we never find out. Then, of course, Candace on the haves and the have-nots. Melissa on the haves and the have-nots. Sharon in the Oval, who eventually had a miscarriage due to that truck accident she was in. And now we have Karen, who seemingly out of desperation took a pregnancy test. And guys, I did the video if she's pregnant or not. I want to tell you right now, I think she is pregnant. I don't think she's lying, due to the fact that Tyler pulled that storyline in what was it, season 1 with Helen, when she lied about being pregnant with Zach's child just so he wouldn't go back to Karen instead of being with her. And for him to do the same thing with a main character in season 3 is pretty dumb and just ridiculous. But I've spoken with a lot of people over the past, not the past week, but the past several days, almost a damn week. And so many people have been hitting me up. Jeremy, I went back to watch this episode. Jeremy, I went back to watch this episode. There are technically 3 key scenes to talk about in this video. But before going further, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you do not miss out whenever I post content on the channel. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And, well, seriously, hit subscribe, because we're closing in on 200,000 subscribers. But really, it's either Zach or Aaron. Now, the first episode to talk about, of course, is the one where Aaron interrupts the straight up fuck session between Zach and Karen in the office of her salon. Now, people have swore up and down, Jeremy, I carefully looked at the scene, like people were turning to me like, I watched it in slow motion and all. It definitely seemed like Aaron barged into the room before they finished. So it's possibly rather unlikely that that session between the two to relieve some tension resulted in Karen being pregnant by Zach. Going back earlier in season 2, you have when Aaron and Karen were going at it at the hotel, but then Zach broke in and then got into that fight with Aaron. And based on how well Aaron was putting up a fight, all things considered, like, I'm pretty, when you pre-nut, you're really in that horny state, but then afterward, that's when you got your sense of clarity back. I just feel like he didn't, a lot of people are like, yeah, you know what, looking back, Aaron wasn't really in there like that. It was like the foreplay and they were getting to that point, but Aaron really wasn't in there like that with Karen. Zach stopped them. So Ironically enough, Zach and Aaron both interrupted the opposing side when they were with Karen. So as a result, it's likely that neither one of those scenarios resulted in Karen being pregnant. Now, to be fair, before season 2, that is, because if I'm not mistaken, the only time these two, Zach and Karen, that is, had sex, or just, one was inside of the other, occurred post season 1 was in season 2 in the salon scene. And to be honest, the only reason that truly happened, I'm not saying Karen wouldn't have done it if her and Aaron did it before, but remember, Aaron was on this whole celibacy thing, and as a result, there was the abstinence period where Karen's whole thing the entire season, I want to F him so bad, I'm so horny. So then in between that and Zach pleading and begging with her to realize he didn't steal from her, that led to those two going at it in the salon. And like I said, even if her and Aaron did do the do, I doubt that she could pass up on Zach. So in season 1, they broke up and made up a few times, and I feel like they did have sex once or twice. But just remember, in episode 1, she did tell the doctor at the doctor's office, the only person I've had unprotected sex with was my partner, aka Zach. But that was prior to her meeting Aaron. So when her and Aaron eventually did it in season 3, where he just ran off in the middle of the night, because he eventually said the reason I ran off that night was because I vaguely heard you saying Zach's name while we were having sex. And because of that, I'm like, you know what? I didn't know how to feel about it. I got so angry. Then on top of that, I'm not supposed to be having this unmarried sex to begin with. So I honestly feel they had unprotected sex. It was like Aaron wanted to give Karen what she wanted, and possibly to show he's a bit of a rebel, because this dude is doing everything he can to prove he's better than Zach, despite the fact that Karen has made it clear that she loves Zach, but she's dealing with a lot right now. Like, Aaron is so and I'm not trying to make this an Aaron bashing video, but I understand some people's notion of Aaron used to be somewhat of a mysterious, interesting character, but now he's just kind of dull. In season 1, it's the whole thing about his ex-wife and her crazy-ass family. Season 2, he just became a stand-in, for Karen to be with when, Zach was trying to get her back. But then he eventually went with Fatima, because in season 2, I remember saying, Aaron really hasn't done anything. And then in season 3, he finally does Karen, and what does he do? Run off in the middle of the night. So 1 minute, you're understanding to Karen say, hey, I'm going to be patient, take as much time as you need to figure things out between you and Zach. Then 1 or 2 episodes later, I spoke with God, you're mine. Bro, first of all, take a hint, Karen ain't feeling you the way you're feeling her. Secondly, make up your mind. You can't say 1 minute, take all the time you need, and then the next episode be like, yeah, God, the one above all, says you're mine, so let's have dinner. It doesn't really work that way. So despite the fact that Aaron keeps saying, be patient, I'll be patient and all, you're really not being patient, bro. So, if we consider that Zach and Karen had unprotected sex in the salon, and we consider that they didn't finish, I don't think Zach is the father. Aaron and Karen, I want to be straight up, I don't think they had protected sex. When they first had sex for the first time, I don't think it was protected at all. And when you think about it, it kind of like when he ran off, people like myself were like, wait a minute, this is happening the same night that Gary all of a sudden said, I'm going to the gym. It's like, wait, is it? Or him and Aaron meeting up? Because remember when Fatima went over to the apartment to get some shoes and a dress for Andy and her quote unquote date business meeting, getting drinks with Robin, she overheard Gary in the bathroom, and it's like, wait a minute, is he up in there, or bedroom? Wait, is he up in there with Aaron? Nah. So yeah, I was just saying, you never know, but it could have been like, wait a minute, is Aaron just one of them guys like hit it and quit it? So you think about it from the perspective, some people are like, first of all, what does Aaron do? Where's his kids? Remember in season 1, well, actually towards the beginning of season 2, I think, he told Karen, hey, my ex-wife's family, I gave him the car, the house and whatnot, custody of the kids. I just wanted to sign over the paper and be done with it. It's like, bro, I know you and your wife had, a bad falling out because she cheated on you and then eventually killed herself and all, but damn, you're just gonna sign away your kids like that? what's going on? I really don't understand that. But regardless, I guess that was just a way for Tyler to write himself out of a hole. Like, I don't ever have to introduce his kids or the ex-wife's family. I could just have Aaron be here to, I guess you could say, be a rival for Zach. A rival for Zach to get Karen, despite the fact I'm going to write Zach to go after Fatima. So Aaron just becomes an afterthought at this point. It's like, is he just a red herring and Karen is pregnant with Zach's child? I don't know. But I just feel like, from a narrative perspective, I don't think Tyler's going to give Zach this L. Because the whole thing, like Duvall was saying in a bunch of interviews, like Tyler wanted to write a character, not stereotypical, somebody with a criminal past, criminal record. This is the story of a man who's actually trying to do better. And instead of falling back into his old way of doing things, ending up in jail because of drugs and whatnot, he's going to try to do right. That doesn't mean it's going to be an easy road. There are going to be bumps along the way. But I just feel like writing him to have a bastard child by hooking up with his ex while he's with a good woman, I don't think it's the route Tyler Perry is going to take. So in my opinion, I honestly think that because the spinoff is coming out soon and season 4 is soon to follow, I feel like maybe this whole baby route or this baby storyline is probably going to lead into maybe like the first third or first half of season 4, where if Karen is pregnant with what she believes is Zach's child, she's going to tell Aaron because of the fact that she probably wouldn't want to be with him. Like, you know what? Hey, there's a lot going on. Me and Zach had that moment at the salon and now I'm pregnant. But then Aaron could be like, are you sure it's his? Because if you remember, we had sex. Because keep in mind, the reason he divorced his wife so quickly was because she cheated. And even though technically speaking, Karen and Aaron weren't an item, in a way they kind of were, because of the fact that that's the whole reason she was celibate the whole time, because she was waiting for Aaron and, Aaron was trying to, do things biblically. So for her to have sex was technically cheating on him. Whereas with Fatima, and I'm not trying to give Zach a pass here, I'm only stating the facts. I'm talking about facts, not feelings. He's the one who tried to define the relationship with Fatima, but she didn't want to hear. It's like, hey, we're having a good time. That's it. And I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm just saying, that's the facts from the show. So here's what I'm thinking. You have, and I hate to make it seem like a punishment because I believe that child, birth and whatnot is a beautiful, now hell if I want to see it though. I don't know. I don't need that image in my mind, but I'm just saying, like, pregnancy, childbirth, that's like a gift. And I hate to think of it like if Aaron got Karen pregnant by having unbiblical, sinful sex, would he still want to get married? Remember, after having sex that first time and then telling Karen about how, I got kicked out of being the mentor, pastor figure of the men's group I teach. I know a guy who can marry us right now, because if I remember correctly, this is this was the same, the mid-season finale, Unlock It. Basically, a few hours ago, Karen's reeling from her salon business failing because of Isaiah. Then on top of that, Zach gave her the $72,000 check and then pretty much said, I'm moving on. It's like her and Zach had a mature departure from one another. And then she's sitting on the couch eating ice cream, and then Aaron's all of a sudden, you want to get married? It's like, what? No. Because what kind of... You literally just said you want to get married to have unsinful sex. I mean, because you had a bad day, you lost your position as pastor of the men's group because you had a backslide moment. Now you just want to get married for sex. So I wonder if Aaron finds out she's pregnant, will he ask the question, could it be mine? Because we had sex too. Remember, we had sex and it was protected. Again, it is not confirmed they had unprotected sex, but I'm just saying, will he just lash out and say, you know what, I'm done with you, Karen? And then she's going to be upset. And then with Zach still moving on with Fatima, I pray to God we don't have Karen pulling a Melinda from Matrimony or pulling a Fawn from Sistas season 1. Because like Miss Lisa, aka Karen's mother, told Aaron, you're the kind of man that goes after weak-minded women and push them to do something like what your ex-wife did. I would hate for Karen to either end her own life or try to end the life of somebody else because she feels completely lost and alone. Keep in mind, she don't know who the baby daddy is. She don't know. So let's say, for example, Aaron asked about it. Let's say, for example, she tells Zach about the pregnancy. Of course, we know she will. Well, she did. And then we find out what happens in this upcoming episode. But then he's like, look, Even if the baby's mine, Karen, I'm still going to be with Fatima. I'm not going to be with you because we aren't good for each other. Karen feels rejected. Aaron finds out about it. He's probably going to take the news just like Joseph when he found out Mary was pregnant by God and not by him. And instead of standing by, Karen is like, you know what, I'm done with you. But then what if the baby turns out to be his? So then Karen feels alone. But you could also argue, well, hey, Karen, add up the dates. We had sex not too long after I caught you and Zach together, so it could be my baby. And if it is, I think we should get married now because I don't want to welcome a bastard child into the world. I want our child to be biblical, sacred, or whatever. So that could be a possible reason for Karen to leave Zach alone if the dates line up and it isn't his baby, and she actually decides to move forward with Aaron. Now, to be completely honest, I think that those two getting married for the sake of their unborn child would be a bit more noble than Aaron wanting to get married for the sake of having unsinful sex. So, yeah. And I'm not just saying that to, get Karen out of the way so Zach and Fatima can move forward. I'm like, no. At least give the character of Karen a little bit of redeeming quality, because why don't you bring her mother back, even if it's nothing more than like a video Skype call or just over the phone voiceover? Just talk some sense to this girl, because I feel like if she found out everything that went on, she would probably wonder, are you sure Zach was the only person you were with? Basically talk some sense to Karen, because based on the trailer, she's like, Zach, if I ever had a child, I wanted it to be with you. But it's like, the way you said that, it's like, are you hinting that it could be Aaron's because you had unprotected sex too? Or are you saying what you were only hoping? But it's just so much going on that I really want to know how things are going to be discussed between Zach and Karen in the next episode, as well as how much Aaron's going to find out about this. Is he going to react calmly? Is he going to consider that I could be the father too? Is he, like Karen, going to assume that it's Zach's baby and as a result, kick Karen to the curb, or decide to love her anyway? But look, I don't like how Aaron's been written as a desperate man for sex, writing off the death of the suicide of his ex-wife and being a complete simp in the friend zone. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I really should, ask you all the question one more time. Who do you think the father of Karen's baby is? Actually, scratch that. I think 3 days ago in the community tab, I asked the question, first of all, do you think Karen is really pregnant? 1.6 thousand votes came in. 23% said yes, 77% said no. Then I asked a follow-up poll question. If Karen is pregnant, who do you think is the baby daddy? 2.1 thousand people voted. 17% said Zach, 83% said Aaron. So I honestly would like to see if Aaron is the father based off, calendars. People have been telling me all kinds of things. What if Karen was on her period? Or what if, she thinks she's pregnant, but she's not? Sometimes these pregnancy tests can be wrong. There are a lot of factors that could contribute to this misinformation. She could indeed not be pregnant because maybe she got a bad test. And I mentioned in the Is Karen Pregnant or Not video, it just seemed like a desperation move. Why now of all times are you deciding to go check to see if you're pregnant? This is after you learn that Zach has moved on with Fatima, that they love each other, that they plan on moving in together. So all of a sudden now, I know this sounds like a weird comparison, but it's kind of like, when an actor or famous person, they are about to win like a prestigious award, despite the fact they've had several honors over the years. Somebody out of the blue, they pull up a racist tweet or, homophobic tweet from like maybe 5-10 plus years ago, and it's like, well, why didn't you pull this up when I won a Grammy? Or why didn't you pull this up when I helped the team win like the national championship? Why are you pulling it now out of all places? So it's just one of those things where it's like, it just seems weird that since Karen is seemingly understanding that Zach has moved on, that Zach is not coming back, that's when you decide to get a pregnancy test. And it's like, really? Why didn't you do it before? It just seems like you're grasping at straws at any opportunity you can to still be involved in Zach's life, despite the fact that he's moved on, as you say that you want to do. You literally told him, like, I need you to tell me this so I can move on. I need you to tell me this so I can stop doing this to Aaron, stop calling your name out when I'm with him. It's like, well, I mean, even if Zach told you all those things, which he clearly did multiple times at the salon, I mean, I really feel like that scene never even happened. I feel like Tyler Perry purposely wrote that out of continuity based off how everybody's been acting since the mid-season finale. But over at Danny's house, on the phone at the airport, right there to your face. Well, yeah, let's talk about before this last episode. What exactly did you want him to say? Even though she said what she wanted to hear and how she wanted to hear it, it's like, I don't understand it. So, for example, let's say if Zach never said, I still love you, I can't lie to you, would she have gotten a pregnancy test? Or did she finally get the pregnancy test because she was pissed off? Here's the thing. Keep in mind, when she filed the police report to get Zach arrested for the credit card fraud, despite the fact Sabrina said, hey, give me 1 or 2 days. I actually sent the case over to a girl I know at another division of the bank. She can check, ATM, different footage, different, camera footage and bank records to see who exactly did take the card and been using it. And it doesn't sound, even though it's Zach's name, it doesn't sound like a Zach move. And I don't know. I think it was the girls who were kind of like, poking fun at Karen for still wanting Zach. And in kind of a move to prove them wrong, she just up and decided to file the police report. And as a result, Zach got falsely accused of something. So in my opinion, I feel like the same thing is happening now. Out of spite, because Zach, she has some feelings towards that, like, how can he do this to me, move on and stuff. I'm going to go ahead. I mean, hell, remember, she's mad at Andy blaming her for them falling in love. Kind of like, her being mad at nobody being on her side. That's Karen's whole thing. Early on, Danny was like, oh, y'all talking behind our backs, you keeping shit from us. And then, Sabrina was like the glue trying to, guys, let's try to get along, keep it together. Karen's always been the one, how come nobody ain't on my side? So she feels alone because, her best friend Andy didn't do anything to stop Fatima and Zach from falling in love. So she's going, and despite the fact that she's like, Zach has moved on, you need to do the same. No, I'm going to do something drastic. So kind of in the same vein as her going to the police station to file that report against Zach to get him arrested and he's innocent, I feel like her going to get the pregnancy test, finding out she's pregnant in the same way is about locking Zach up metaphorically by being the mother of his child. And then it turns out he's not the father. I think that instead of, Karen not being pregnant like Helen was in early season 1, I feel like it's kind of a baby lockdown, kind of in the same way that Zach got locked up because of the whole credit card crap and he didn't do a damn thing. So I think that this is bogus. I think that Karen is pregnant, but it's not Zach's child. So until the upcoming episode has aired, unless we get some kind of synopsis. Oh yeah, we don't even have the season finale synopsis yet. Until we get any information, this will be my last video on this damn subject. So only time will tell what this upcoming episode will bring. Hell, to be honest, with all the talk I've done on this subject, I will be pleasantly surprised if there's something in the episode that I haven't already said in one of these damn videos. But like I said before, Rico and Karen always have protected sex whenever they hooked up. He's not the daddy. Looking at Aaron and Zach, it definitely seems like Zach and Aaron probably had unprotected sex, but unlike Aaron, it seems like Aaron and Karen actually finished. So what say you? Is Aaron the baby daddy or Zach? And like I said, I'm not trying to tell you or sway you like how to vote or whatever, but I hope if you made it to the end of this video, if you made it to this point of the video, just applaud yourselves. I commend you for bearing with me in my voice. It sounds a little tired, a little hoarse. I'm not sick, but I've been talking a lot this morning. Look past your feelings and look at the facts. And it definitely feels like we're getting a rinse and repeat where Karen is trying to set up or arrange for Zach to be caught up in something that he had nothing to do with. I think Aaron is the father. I hope we actually get... We know Aaron is in season 4. So I hope we definitely get some conversations. I did a separate video talking about how, Lord, what if Karen... Well, Sabrina's going to tell the women at the strip club about Zach and the $1.4 million. That's probably going to set Karen off even more. But this is just a hot mess. So thanks so much. I've learned so much about pregnancy and whatnot over the past week that I don't care to ever hear about it again, but I'm probably going to have to because of the next episode. So again, like and subscribe. And if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.